many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Well. We are right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it. Everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, and it has hit the fan. The stupid is off the hook, the sick is off the hook, the perverted is off the hook, everything is off the hook. I hope you're prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. There we go. All right, so the reason I showed that disclaimer, it's an oldie but a goodie done by Mr. T, is that was Biden's first fall. Since then, he's fallen up the steps. He's fallen across the stage. Who knows how many times he's fallen and we didn't see him. The only thing he hasn't done is fall down the stairs, choke on a banana, trip on a tricycle, and keel over. But get this. This is beyond humorous. It's painfully humorous. Now, a report came out today, and this is not bullshit. It is satire, satirical, funny. It's also ironic, another type of humor, irony. There is a secret mission out. Then the news came out earlier today, and then this thing happened. There's a secret mission that the Secret Service has and the rest of the presidential staff, and that is, do not let Joe Biden fall down. And that's why they've given him shorter staircases, a handle, and everything else. Guess what? He almost fell down Air Force One today. Okay, look, now, if you trip once, who cares? I mean, his first trip, he tripped 3 fucking times trying to go up Air Force One. He did the fucking falling hat trick. Guy's an idiot, and he's fallen many more times since. So now they're realizing, well, with campaign season coming up, he's looking kind of shitty. Of course, we have more to discuss about the coming campaign season and the Democrat candidate. So, where is the Benny Hill music when you need it? I know I've got yakety sax on my computer somewhere. Where it's just, you're gonna, Benny Hill music. Does everyone know Benny Hill music? Yakety sax. I don't know anymore. Unbelievable. I can't even. I don't even know. Yakety sax. You'll know here. Let's move on if we shall. Oh, folks, by the way, I'm going to do my 30-minute monologue. You guys, you get the second half an hour. Get your story, question, comment, prediction, prognostication, recollection, concept, idea, or conspiracy theory down in the comments to Uman. And if you're wondering why I'm not answering your question, it's because you're not here live with us. Now, I'm broadcasting live. There's a live studio audience of people who are at the preparedmind.club or subscribestar.com. Both of those are gateways to live discussion about what the hell is happening today. And we do it in the afternoon. So if you're watching this any other time and I'm not responding to your questions, it's because you're not here with us. Now, let us continue. We keep hearing that Russia's being defeated by Ukraine. Oh, there's some embarrassing shit coming out about Ukraine, Biden, Congress, the funding, etc. Like Congress is still refusing to audit all of the money sent to Ukraine from U.S. taxpayers. Why is that? If you and I did anything and the IRS wants to see our money, we can't just, no, it's okay, IRS, you can go away. No, if they want to audit you, they will audit you. And you will prove where every fucking penny came from and where they went. But the U.S. government wants to send 100 and how many billions of dollars? And nobody gets to know. There's no accounting. I mean, did the big guy get his 10% again? Is that what's going on here? Anyways, they're losing the war in spectacular fashion. And dirt is starting to come out. Well, let's start with this, shall we? Russia did not get its ass kicked today by Ukraine. Instead, Russia destroyed a huge ammo depot. It had 3,000 tons of munitions, explosives, and it was destroyed in one huge blast. Oh, and by the way, they also took out 2 Ukraine MiG-29 fighters. That's right, the Russians took out 2 MiG-29. I guess they won't be flying. Whatever happened? Do you remember this bullshit? The Ukraine version of the Red Baron, he was called, the Ghost of Kiev or some bullshit? Yeah, he's so ghostly you can't see him because he doesn't fucking exist. The mainstream media continues to lie to the world, folks. We're told that the Ukes are winning. And every time you look, you find out it ain't so. Well, there's a lot more, folks, to what ain't so than just that. Now, I don't know. Let's have some fun with this shit. Really, let's have some fun. Let's do that. Before I get too pissed off, let's have some fun. In Denver, folks, a radio host who are notoriously conservative, who are notoriously patriotic, who are notoriously conservative Republican types. So this radio show host was outside his business, looked down and saw a big pile of human shit from some homeless person who left him a present. So he scooped the poop, folks, and he took it to the Denver building, right, the city building, City Hall, and dumped it on their steps. I think that's brilliant. It wasn't his shit. It was in the public. So he's not responsible for this shit. He didn't make the shit. He didn't leave the shit. He just relocated the shit. He was just relocating public property. If you find something no one wants and the city owns it, well, he was just relocating it. He was putting it in a more advisable location to be discovered by city workers. I think he would have been well within his rights to take it inside the lobby and say, excuse me, city person, someone left this on my doorstep. It's public property because no one claimed it. Where's the lost and found? You could have smeared it on their doors and said, this was on the sidewalk. What if someone stepped in it? That's a serious health hazard. Fucking cities, these big cities and their issues. They'll spend $44,000 per tent in Los Angeles. But they won't spend $10,000 on a few porta potties and have them serviced. I mean, folks, look, in construction, we have porta potties on the site. Once a week, they'll send out a truck that cleans them all, makes them all clean, sanitary, nice, stocks them, all that stuff. The city can't do that. So that these homeless people, that's what they do, folks. It's what they do. I wish this guy had done more with it, but as it is, I think that was one giant step for mankind and one small plop of a lesson. Very crazy. Now, I want to get into the radically, democratically intellectually vagrant world of the World Economic Forum. That's right, folks. I talk about them often. The World Economic Forum is the current vision for us to see the Illuminati, the powers that be, the super wealthy and their influence trying to take over the planet, take over finance, take over the monetary system, enrich themselves at our expense. That's you right there. So guess who showed up at a World Economic Forum event? None other than the daughter. Her name is Vanessa, the daughter of John Kerry. Can you imagine that? Effete, astute, asswipe's daughter? I'm sure she is just as mentally vagrant as he is. Anyways, this was her suggestion because they want to advance their climate crisis narrative. They want to promote their stinking climate hoax agenda. She suggests using emotion from the pandemic and storytelling. That's how dumb they think you are. That's how dumb they think I am. Emotion? Really? Emotion? We're gonna sell the climate crisis narrative with emotion like they did in the pandemic? And they need to do storytelling. I guess they think that Drag Queen Story Hour works on adults too, and they need to do it with climate crisis narrative in mind. Storytelling, folks. What the fuck? Storytelling? What happened to science? I thought we should trust the science. Remember when we were told trust the science? Isn't climate and the study of climate, isn't that supposed to be a science, a hard science? I wonder, where is the real science? Where is it hiding today when it takes third place behind emotional storytelling techniques? You got emotion, you got storytelling. Good golly. Fuck. These people are off their fucking rockers. I can't help it. I can't help it. And sorry for the F-bomb, folks. Sorry for the F-bomb. I was driving back from a contract today and was listening to Andy Schechtman, who was on Arcadia Economics discussing what's going on with the banking system, the monetary system, the finance system, all this. And he got pissed off talking about all the money that's being sent over to Ukraine. We're paying their first responders. We're paying their stinking bureaucrats in Ukraine. And they'll continue to get paid even if the federal government gets shut down here in America. And they start telling American federal workers, go pound sand, you don't get paid. And he lost his shit and he dropped the F-bomb too. They're screwing us over. They're pissing down our backs and they're telling us it's raining and it's good for us. Literally. They're pissing down our backs, folks. Now, today, I couldn't help it. I had to post it. It was, someone took the video of Justin Little Castro Turdhole, the Prime Minister of Canada, and his little speech about it wasn't my fault when it comes to all of the praise and the standing ovation they gave a Nazi. But rather than just showing that, someone they digitally painted blackface on him as a parody to remind everyone that Justin Turdhole, right, wore blackface to several parties. Now, for me, I couldn't give a shit. I really couldn't. If you're black and you want to paint yourself white like Eddie Murphy did for comedy, or if you're any race or any color, I couldn't give a shit if you dress up for Halloween. I couldn't care less. I met an Asian lady years ago who was dressed in her afro had to be like 2 feet wide. Asian afro. Really? It was hilarious because the rest of her outfit was 1970s stuff. It was crazy. Funny shit. in the 70s when everybody believed it's okay to have an afro, because back then you could dress the way you wanted. You could accept any style you wanted. Anyways, yeah. The Nazi celebration of Canadian Parliament has gone viral. And this parody of Justin wearing his blackface, denying responsibility for this Nazi that they drug out and started praising because he was Ukrainian is fucking hilarious. But it gets even better. So Justin Turdhole blames the speaker, right? It's basically the same thing as our Speaker of the House in Congress. He blames the speaker. It wasn't my fault. We do not like this, right? So the speaker in Canada resigns his position for honoring this fucking Nazi. And get this, Poland now wants to extradite this guy. Hunka. He's 98 years old. Just let him die. The guy probably doesn't even know what planet he's on, just like the rest of the Democrats. He probably has no clue that what he did was wrong at this point in his life. I mean, can't he use the Hillary Clinton defense? What difference does it make now? Well, Poland wants to extradite him for fucking war crimes from God knows how many years ago, 75 years ago? Fucking unbelievable. 78 years ago, 79, 80 fucking years ago. They're after this guy. And I find it funny that only the Speaker of Parliament has any dignity or shame or self-respect to apologize, accept some responsibility and resign. But I'll go one better with you in this SHTF world of nonsense. You know what he should have done? He should have taken 100% credit for exposing this guy and bringing him to the public's attention. He should have said, hey, I put him up there and they praised him. But now everyone knows who he is, what he did, where he came from. And they need to go in there and, arrest one more Nazi. I helped arrest a Nazi. That was the golden opportunity these assholes missed, that they could have taken credit for exposing a Nazi. Fucking morons. Wouldn't that be that'd be a Columbo moment? No, that would be a Perry Mason moment. They stand up, he starts clapping, yay me, and they go, and by the way, you're now under arrest for being a war criminal. That would have shocked everyone if someone went up and clapped some irons on his wrists, eh? Hey, jolly good, we caught him, eh? Let's send him back to Poland. Unfucking believable what's going on. These people are that stupid. Man, you and I, man, we argue about, are they that stupid or not? We don't argue, we debate, folks. Argue, debate, talk, whatever the fuck. We argue about it and go, are they that stupid? Yes or no? Are they so powerful that they can do whatever they want, but they're so stupid they fuck it up all the time? Is that what's going on here? Because they have enormous, incredible amounts of authority and power in government. Congress, the president, the bureaucracy, these fucking clowns have enormous power internationally, America, Europe, Asia, and they still can't manage to take over the planet. That's how fucking stupid they are. They're so stupid they don't even understand that they're hypocrites standing out in front of us, looking and sounding like moronic hypocrites. It's incredible. It truly is incredible, folks. Now, this morning I touched the third rail of racism. Here we are, a white guy talking about race. They're going to use racism to split us apart, folks. They're going to push it. Right? They're going to push it. How dare you talk about racism, John? What do you know? You're white. You're using your white privilege to pay all your taxes. Anyone with a job needs to pay their taxes, and they realize that's a privilege I would prefer not to have. Anyways, Ted Cruz came back out again. He started it the other day, and then it went to the former governor of the great state of Alaska, Sarah Palin. She also said that Michelle Obama, Michelle, check out my package, my unit, my bulge when I jog, run, or walk quickly, Obama. And then Ted came back out and reasserted and said the odds are very significant that Michael Obama is going to replace Biden on the ticket. So Big Teddy Cruz is back again. And it makes me wonder, why did he come back out again and say the odds are very significant? Why would he do that? Was this a political trial balloon that they flew out there to see if people would get pissed off and upset? To see if they cared? Well, the trial balloon worked at least in one way, in that it pissed off Republicans. But anytime you piss off Republicans, you're also going to probably excite, at the very least, and possibly piss off Democrats as well. So both sides are happy and both sides are disgusted at this development. By introducing her now, it is going to prepare the nation for the idea that she's qualified. Well, hell, I mean, we've been talking about her being president. She must be qualified, right? I mean, who's going to sponsor her campaign trail? A jockey? Who's going to sponsor, right? Who is going to sponsor her campaign? I want in the comment section. I want to know what companies are going to sponsor Michelle Obama and her campaign. I'm putting number one should be, hold it, wait for it, right? Who makes the best jock itch cream? That's what I'm telling you. That's who is gonna sponsor her campaign? Trojan. Who is going to sponsor Michelle Obama's campaign? These are the types of polls that I think we should be running. Right? What company would sell the most stuff by sponsoring your campaign? Yeah. Enough. But back to, both sides are happy about this and both sides are disgusted. Why would Republicans be happy about Michelle Obama being foisted to the front, or parachute dropped on top of Biden's head? Why would that make Republicans happy? Because we love to hate the Obamas. Let's be frank. Not hate and that we're going to do something violent, but that we're just disgusted by them. We want their biggest names out front, showing us how their agenda is the most disgusting. Right? Why do they leave the drag queens out there? Because they want the drag queens to take the flack. I want Biden. I want Barack insane Barry Soetoro Obama out front talking about how we need drag queens in schools. I want them saying the words. I want Michelle Obama to try and defend transsexuals playing in women's sports. That I want to see. I think Tough Actin' Tenactin ought to sponsor with their jock itch cream Michelle Obama's campaign, because she's going to be doing a lot of running around and sweating as she works hard to show everyone she understands America. I'm sure that in Iowa and Illinois and Midwest and the farmland, the heartland, the grain belt, the corn belt, the Bible belt, they're just going to love watching her drag herself around. A little drag joke for you all. Folks, the odds are very significant. Now, we're going to be happy about them exposing themselves. Oh, once again, exposing. These people are fruitcakes, folks. They would love to expose themselves. How much do you want to bet they would just love to get up there and just flash you all the goods, right? And say, fuck you, we're in charge. We're powerful. That's what they're doing in schools. That's exactly what they're doing in schools, is they've got books with cartoon pornography in them that they're giving to kids. And it's not just pornography, folks. It's what? It's homosexual, transgender, ultra sick, perverted gay stuff. and they think it's cute. That's what they're all about. So yeah, we're definitely also disgusted by the idea of Michelle Obama. But that, folks, it's all part and parcel of Biden's America. There should be a show on TV called Biden's America. There really should. And Michelle Obama is going to play the race card. The media will play the race card. They will divide. They will be divisive. They will split America into factions and say, you just don't like her, John, because she's black. I don't like her for a lot of reasons, and being black ain't one of them. I couldn't care less. What I care about is her policies or his policies and what it is he, she, they, it believes. And I already know the politics and policies, so I am disgusted by that. Right, like she's going to win me over by saying something like, when they go low, we go high. All she has done is gone down, and you know what I'm saying to you. So Biden's America. Let me give you a taste of Biden's America. I hit on it a little bit this morning. Do you remember a young man named Ethan Liming? He was a young guy who was attacked. For no apparent reason, a high school kid. High schooler just out of high school. Two brothers beat the living shit out of him and killed him. They stomped his chest in, they broke his neck, and then they stole his car. Guess what? They have been acquitted of involuntary manslaughter. A serious act of violence, murdering somebody. We're hearing more and more about this. As the Democrats divide this country by race, they're teaching and pushing race hatred with critical race theory. And so two brothers, both of whom are black, attacked a white kid, stomped him, broke his fucking neck, and then stole his car. And they have been acquitted of manslaughter charges. I don't know. It should have been first-degree murder. It should have been premeditated first-degree murder. Now, you go ahead and have police arrest St. George Floyd for committing a crime, another felony, as an ex-felon, while under the influence of drugs. And you know what that means? Everyone riot. But some young guy, and it doesn't matter that he was white, folks. He could have been black and killed by two black guys. And I would be just as pissed off and outraged. You know why? Because there would have been a reason behind this. There would have been something in their head. Now, follow me here. He could have been black. He could have been Asian. He could have been Hispanic. It doesn't matter. He could have been from India or Pakistan. And the reason that they would have done this to him is that they felt that he was a bad guy and that they had a right to kill him. That they had the right to kill him, that it was justified, in other words. That's what these two brothers did. They killed a young person because they felt it was justifiable, that they could get away with it, that he deserved it. How many black Republicans, Asian Republicans, Native American Republicans, Hindi Republicans, African Republicans, Arab Republicans, how many of them are there? How about Armenian Republicans? How many of them are there? And all these two brothers would have had to know is that person's politics and belief system, and that would have given them the justification to kill him based on critical race theory and the division that people like Barack Hussein Obama and Mad Maxine Waters, who is out there spewing her racist crap. I want everyone to come together and put race aside, put religion aside, put gender aside, put wealth aside, and start fucking thinking about America. That ain't going to happen, folks. They got too many more porcupines. Too many more porcupines playing on this trampoline. The shit's just getting bounced everywhere. Bounced everywhere. I tell you. Let me continue, folks. Let's just continue and go down this racist bullshit road some more. That's right. White guy talking about racism. Alert, alert. I remember this show called Reading Rainbow. It's been on at least 20 years because I remember it was on, I think, when my kids were around. I think it was even on before I had kids, back in the 1990s. Reading Rainbow. So the guy that hosts it, LeVar Burton. I remember the homosexual black guy from Revenge of the Nerds. His name was Lamar. Anyways, this guy's name is LeVar Burton. He is claiming that blocking access to these pornographic, homosexual, perverted books is, quote, white supremacy. He didn't just call it racist. He called it white supremacy. So a black man who is supposed to read books to children claims that taking away homosexual pornography is white supremacy. Folks, I'm going to illustrate the stupidity and the racist joke that this moron is, that the mainstream media is, that entertainment is, that DC is, that the school boards is or are. Let's examine the statement. Denying children mind-warping, pornographic, homosexual, perverted books. Oh, they're disguised as educational textbooks. They are barely, if at all, disguised as educational textbooks. That's somehow an act of racism and white supremacy. So now they've introduced race into the equation of homosexual books that are being given to children in schools. So if denying pornographic, sexually explicit material is racist, then can we logically conclude that black and brown cultures are both supportive of grooming children as sex toys for perverts, and black and brown cultures are superior to any culture that says showing gay porn to young kids is wrong? It begs the question, well, if those books are white supremacy, then what you're saying is taking away gay books is white supremacy, then giving gay books is black and brown supremacy, because you are claiming your concepts are superior. This guy is pushing racial supremacy because he's black and gay. It's beyond the pale, folks. Beyond the pale. And pale, pun intended. Fucking people. They're sick. They're sick. I mean, think about it. If denying gay pornography is racist, white supremacy, then should we be able to conclude that the inverse is correct? That black and brown culture are supportive of grooming children homosexually and with homosexual content? Because they're saying it's white supremacy to withhold that information, so granting it is a superior notion, because he's saying that it's wrong to take that from kids. So it's right to give it to them, and white supremacy to take it, and it's black and brown supremacy to give it. You think the media is going to look at the inverse and ask those questions? Or are they just going to throw it out there? See, that's what they love to do without supporting their positions with anything. They don't support their positions with anything. They just throw a blanket statement out there. It's wrong to take that from children. Why is it wrong? Why is it right to give it to children? Have they even fucking explained that yet? Oh, shit. It appears I've gone past my half an hour mark. Fuck, sorry, you man. I was surprised you didn't like put a question mark up like there. Are you going to shut up for a few minutes, John? I've got more, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to respect the way the show is supposed to operate and go to the inner circle. Let's oops, chin music. one moment, Mr. Music. Man, let's hold off on the number 3 you just sent me until the very end. I gotta let the bubbles of the boiling come down a little bit. Let's get into Chin Music, though. What does he got to say? Chin, man, what are you saying? He says, John, never forget, I guess we're going to touch the subject. Back onto the third rail. Never forget Canon Hinton. Say his name. Canon Hinton. He was the 5-year-old little boy. 5-year-old little white boy who was shot point blank and killed by his neighbor for riding his bike onto his property. Never forget his name, folks. And see, what I don't want to promote is race war and racism and race division. What I want to point out is what is causing race wars and race division. I'm not against people with brown skin coming across the border at the South. I'm not against Mexicans or Central Americans or South Americans or Arabs or Africans or Asians. I'm not against any of them coming across the border. What I'm against is people who are not Americans coming across the border. I'm not happy about Russians. I'm not happy about anyone coming across the border that is not there lawfully behaving and following the legitimate constitutional rules for entering this fucking country. It's not about skin color. It's not about race. It's about what is your nationality, not your color, your nationality. Are you a United States of America, natural born human being? Were you born here? Yeah, it's not about skin color, folks. For me, it's about them pushing this idea that there's white supremacy and racism, and it's inherent in every white person. So therefore, you're justified in attacking them. That is precisely and exactly, well, it's not precisely, it's very similar to what's going on in South Africa, where if you're a white person, a human being of European descent, and you happen to be in that country, born there, having had generations of family living there for 100, 200, 300, 400 years of white people living in South Africa, they want to just kill them because they're white. It's completely awful that this is what they're teaching, that skin color matters. And I know they want to destroy the white race, folks. They want to destroy us. They meaning the World Economic Forum. But John, they're white. Oh, really? The World Economic Forum, all these rich billionaire bastards are white? I had no fucking clue. No, I knew. And they don't care about you and me. They want all the races bastardized. See, I find it satisfying. I find it invigorates the human spirit. When I see a Japanese family, when I see an African family, when I see indigenous peoples from Australia together, when I see German families, when I see anytime I see a family unit, a husband and a wife who does not have a penis and children, this is part of God's creation. He made the different races. I find that to be completely natural. What I find to be unnatural, and forgive me if this sounds racist, I find it unnatural to see all of this. We don't care about race. I think that's what makes us unique and cool and different, is that we all look a little different and we act a little different. We have different cultures. It's really fine. We shouldn't have to go to war about it and try and destroy each other. That's what these people want. But they want to destroy all of that. Because let me tell you what they want. These rich bastards, they are racist. And they are also anti-human. What they want to do is create one giant melting pot of all humanity. They don't want white people. They don't want brown people. They don't want black people. They don't want red people. They don't want yellow people. They don't want all the colors. They want them homogenized and mixed. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because they want that pile of those humans over here as slaves. And only the very few of them, just a few of them out there, as the white race, the ruling elite, will maintain their whiteness, maintain their control. Oh, they'll have their, let's call them mutts. They'll have their mutts as the rulers over us, the presidents, the congresses, the judges. They'll allow their mutts there to act like they have power, but the true power elite, the Bilderbergs, the aristocracy, they'll maintain their racial purity, folks. Trust me. They'll maintain their lineage. Trust me. They don't want to share it. They don't want to look at someone like me and go, yeah, John's just as white as we are. In fact, John is more white. They want to destroy it all, folks. Well, destroy everything that we have, minimize it and trash it. And that they want to claim that they're pure and that all of us are just mutts. So I think a pure black, pure Asian, pure indigenous person, if you're, whether we're talking about Australian Aboriginal or Canadian Aboriginal, and there are some very close to authentic South American Aboriginal peoples still up in the Andes and also in the Amazon and also in Africa. That's right. There's some people that are black. And there are people of Arab descent that are Arab. And Chinese that are China. And I think that's great. And they would rather destroy all of that. Now, China, I don't think is going to have much of it. Russia is an interesting thing because they basically own Mongolia, northern China. And so up there's been a lot of hybridization in the eastern Russia. But still, if you go to western Russia, around the Moscow, St. Petersburg area, you're going to see more of the predominantly white Russian. And I'm not talking about an alcoholic beverage there. But you can tell a Russian from, well, you can tell certain Russians, like Vladimir Putin has that very distinct Russian look. There is no doubt that mofo is Russian. Anyways, I find it fascinating. I find it interesting to understand and believe there's different cultures out there. But they want us all destroyed. They want us all ghetto. Why do you think they push ghetto mentality, ghetto music, ghetto drugs, ghetto education? They want ghetto for all of us. And they want to push the destruction of anything that is intelligent, decent, and good. Hence, drag queens, transgenders. Now, am I being racist? Does anyone here vote that I am a racist in all of my discussions? And once again, whether you say yes or no, I couldn't give a flying fuck. And I'm talking to everyone on the planet out there. What's important is that I've caused you to think. That's my point. That's my objective, is to ask you to think about this. What do you think? Not what have you been told by the media? Not what have you heard from a family member, or what have you heard discussed at lunch at work? Not what you were indoctrinated with in school. What do you think when you actually think about the World Economic Forum, these rich white guys? They make sure that they stay nice and white and pure, and that their family lineage is nice and straight. Why do you think the British royal family essentially has excommunicated Prince Harry? I mean, he's not excommunicated. He's not excommunicado, right? But there's no way in hell he or his children are going to be allowed onto the throne of England. Not a fucking chance. Do you think the Habsburg dynasty, right, is going to allow that? And that's if Meghan Markle can even have kids. It's because they are a bunch of racists, I think, for all of their reasons. Folks, when I grew up in, I think, it must have been second grade, may have been third grade, There was a poster on the wall in my classroom. And what it showed was all of the different races on the planet and a picture, an example of what people look like from those races. And I found it absolutely fascinating. As a white kid growing up I must have been living in Morgan Hill at the time, 1976, 77. I found that really fascinating, interesting. I didn't know that there were all these different looking people. At the time in Morgan Hill, right, people didn't look like all those things. Now I'll tell you what, the Bay Area is definitely a melting pot of people from all over the freaking planet. But at the time, I'd known Japanese. No, Japanese came in third grade. My friend Andrew Pong from third grade. Okay, man, I know I'm getting long-winded here and I'm digressing off in areas, right? So I knew a Japanese and I spent some time with him at his place, and Japanese culture was interesting to me. And my friend in first and second grade, Danny and Jose, were both Hispanic, Mexican, second generation. I didn't think anything of it, but I didn't know there were all kinds of races. I just figured just the ones I saw. Black, Mexican, Japanese. That was it. And then, of course, white people. These fucking people, they want us to hate each other. They want us to screw each other and create a homogenous, beige-colored people. But they want to retain their whiteness and their supremacy. Crazy stuff, folks. They want you to feel guilty so that you go out and, I guess, destroy your race and hate your culture and hate your history. And, oh, yeah, black people built Stonehenge. You fucking kidding me? Anyways, let us go on. Mr. Uman, thank you. Who's next? It's Michael Brown. He says, John, I told you the racial issues are landmines to any progress we have, but do you think they will be of any help if they don't have a foundation of knowledge and not easily manipulated? I'll tell you what, Michael, what I think is that we should be taught facts about who we are and where we came from. I think that having a good foundation of real knowledge or reliable knowledge will allow us to make more intelligent decisions about who we are as a country and not lying to ourselves. I think that people who have been lied to are easily manipulated because they're being told stories. They're being told stories and not facts, and that they're being told stories in an emotional way rather than a factual way. So I learned that my family came to Pennsylvania in the 1720s and 30s, and they came as indentured servants. That is to say, they may have had some money, but they had to promise to work as basically slave light. And at first I heard that, I was like, oh man, my family basically sold themselves to William Penn and worked for nothing, just to pay off the debt for the boat ride. And I thought, I was kind of ashamed at first, I was like, man, they weren't wealthy enough to just come over here. They had to basically sell themselves as slaves for a while. And then I thought, well, at least they got out of it. Fuck, at least they escaped it. It wasn't 20 years or having to give their children up for something stupid. And I was like, I'm actually pretty proud of them. I as I grew through the knowledge and understanding and reading about what it was, I was like, okay, would it have been better for them to stay in Germany and been slaughtered in a religious war? Or was it better that they came to America as essentially indentured servants or slaves for a short period of time? What was the better move? What was the more intelligent move? Did it benefit me ultimately long term? Did it benefit a lot of family members? And so I went that way. Having the information given to us in a non-emotional way, in not a story fashion, but a factual historical view. You can. Of course, you're going to have an emotional response to it, but that was fucking the early 1700s. Here we are in the early 2000s, 300 years later. Should there be an emotional response for me? whether it's 100 years ago or 300 years ago or 1,000 years ago, when my ancestors from Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Denmark, and that part of my genetic heritage, should I feel shame and remorse for what the Vikings did? They're a bunch of ruthless bastards, right? It's good for jokes and good for drinking, and but do I feel proud of what they did, or is it part of world history and I share some genetic heritage with it, but it's just part of who we are, and have we as a civilization, because the civilization hasn't died out. Empires have changed, but the civilization didn't die out. Should I feel ashamed of it, or should I just learn from the experience? This is, racial issues are landmines, Michael. I kind of agree with that, because you bring it up and you don't know whether someone's going to have an emotional response or whether they're going to have an intellectual response or comment about it. How do they feel? If you're poor and you approach a topic, you approach it differently than someone who's got wealth. I grew up poor, and so I approach a lot of topics from that perspective, with regard to wealth and status, lower class, middle class, upper class, and did I work my way out of that? Fuck yeah. I learned from it, right? And I learned what America's about. It's about opportunity. It's about freedom and liberty. And if you have freedom and liberty, then you'll find opportunity, and you can become a better, or not better, you can be a better person and work above these prejudices about money and what it takes to get ahead and work hard and all that. It is landmines though, Michael. You're absolutely correct. Will they be of any help if they don't have, I think we can learn from landmines. Let me say it this way. Let me look back at what you have to say it this way. Racial issues are landmines. Can we learn from them? Yeah. When I watch an idiot over that way, jumping up and down in a minefield of racial issues, and he's just hitting on everything and he's just blowing himself up. I learned not to do what that guy did. Now, how do you diffuse a landmine? Let's just say over here, I've got a landmine. It's a racial issue and it's a landmine. How do I diffuse that so we learn not to do the bad things with race? This guy's jumping up and down and trying to piss everyone off and get an emotional response. Over here, I'd like to dissect it and talk about it. Learn from my experience, learn from the experience of others by discussing it intellectually, not so much in an emotional manner or fashion. It's kind of instead of saying race, because I'm from the West Coast of the United States, and I've talked to people on the East Coast, in particular New Yorkers, I love to fuck with. We tease each other. They tease me, you fucking Californian, you fucking Yankee. You have fun and you tease each other, but you talk about your differences. And instead of the differences being landmines that blow up our friendship, our commonality, they become things that unite you and that you find things in common. Right? People from New York, the ones I meet, a lot of them are just giant smart asses. Well, I'm a smart ass. We got a lot more in common than not. There's a lot more people out there who come from a poor background, and I've got that in common with them. So we should have a lot more common ground that we can stand on, where landmines aren't an issue, rather than looking for the things that are divisive. The one thing that's different about us is our skin color or our religion or our wealth, and using that to hurt each other. Whether it's landmines or grenades, man. Anyways, being easily manipulated also, Michael, that's what gets me, is how easily manipulated people are. They just use everything. The bad guys out there, the smart ones that manipulate us, the psychological operations thinkers, right? They use these landmines to manipulate people and upset them so that they get onto this track. This is my opinion, by the way, where they believe something no matter what facts to the contrary are presented. They just believe some shit because it satisfies some anger or hatred, or it plays along with the ignorance they have. So it's a great topic, and it's one that I do often enjoy, is discussing race or religion or gender, because I think those are neutral things. There's a guy that runs a 7-Eleven, and I go get a coffee from on a regular basis, and he's, did I say he's Muslim? Oh yeah, he's Muslim, right? He's got the beard and everything else, right? And you would think, holy shit, John's talking to a Muslim, a Marine's talking to a Muslim. And, not at first, the guy thought I was Kevin Nash, but that doesn't matter. He's a nice guy. And we have more to gain from talking and sharing with each other than we do from looking at each other with suspicion, going, you know what? I don't fucking trust you because of what happened over there so many years ago. Why do that to him and yourself and your nature as a human being? Why the fuck would you do that? Well, if you're doing that, it's because someone else put that in your head and it's benefiting them and not you. I mean, I thought about this today because of all this race shit. And I guess I got onto this track today. I thought, who do I trust less? Some white trash, trailer trash, hillbilly, or some black person from the ghetto? Who do I trust less? Who should I trust less? Why would I trust one or the other less than the other? Well, first off, I don't trust any strangers. So let's just make that perfectly clear. But you know who I fear more? The white person. You want to know why? Because they are closer to my culture or my subculture, or they would pretend to be closer to it. And I've experienced this because they assume that because they're white and I'm white, that they can say something and appeal to my emotional sympathy and get closer to me and try and take advantage of me, steal from me, trick me, harm me, hurt me, because they think that they have something in common with me that they can exploit because they're trash. Now, some ghetto trash is not going to make any of those assumptions that they can exploit me because they understand me and they speak my language, if you get my drift. So I find them to be less dangerous. They've got to be more honest with who they are just to talk to me. Same with me. I'm not going to pretend to be black. I'm not going to pretend to understand ghetto culture. I'm not from the fucking ghetto. I'm from the fucking mountains. Right? So I think we're less dangerous to one another because our appearance shows us that we're different. And so we have to learn to talk to each other on a more realistic basis. And I guess this fucking show turned into SHTF race relations and SHTF race exploitation by the rich, powerful bastards, and race hatred by the rich, powerful bastards. And how they get us, or try to get us, to hate each other. That's what I guess this fucking show turned into. Everything is a trick. Everything benefits these rich banker bastards because they want to exploit everyone and everything at all costs. I'm running out of time and I can't get away. I have to fucking cover this. Ooh, man, I'm sorry. If questions are good for tomorrow, he's like raising his hands. He's like, fuck it. There's a $2 billion loan being given to Poland from the U.S. government, from Joe Biden. $2 billion given to Poland, not Ukraine, but Poland, to modernize its army. And this is being done and said while we're seeing that, well, American military installations, bases, have in some cases just grotesquely squalid, disgusting living conditions for our troops. So here's how this works. Let me explain to you how the military-industrial complex, combined with banking and government scumbags, how they fuck everything up. Poland sends its shitty old tanks into Ukraine, and they tell Ukraine, go kick the shit out of Russians with our shitty old tanks. And then the Ukrainians drive those tanks up to the battlefield or close to it and either abandon them or get blown to pieces by the Russians. And then Biden sends $2 billion over to Poland, so Poland gets new tanks and Ukrainians get killed. I'm going to talk about racist or, these are ethnic Ukrainians. They're a subsect of the white Eastern European genetic type being slaughtered. So this is how this works. You, America, get to fund the U.S. war machine, and we also get to fund the NATO allies' war machines. Well, our troops live in shitty conditions and get shit for pay. Well, at least the trannies in the military, they get free cock removal at the very least, right? But yeah, the Ukrainians get slaughtered. Europe gets fresh new tanks sold to them by American military contractors, I'm sure. They're like, we're going to give you $2 billion, but you're going to be buying American equipment. Trust me on this, folks. One hand washes the other while you and I get bitch slapped with a fucking stick. Every single time. Chance favors. The Prepared Mind is yours. Thank you for sharing this discussion with me. Hopefully you guys didn't get too pissed off. Hopefully not. Hopefully I promoted some thinking. Come to your own conclusions. Think your own thoughts. I can't tell you what to think. I just shared some ideas. Some of them are mine. Some of them belong to other people. And if you want wisdom, if you want some wisdom, go read Thomas Sowell's books. Sowell. Go read some Thomas Sowell and see what you think of that. Semper Fi, and God bless America.